What is going on, brothers and sisters? Eric Rosen here, your internal strength coach, here to show you how to overcome your greatest challenges so you can shine your brightest light. It is October 1st, Monday, 2018. Happy October. Obviously the fall weather's coming in. So I offer personal training as well as coaching. If either of these things are of interest to you, you've heard me talk about it, you can shoot me an email, ericrosencoaches@gmail.com. Would love to help you out. So the topic for today that I wanted to talk about is about time. And time is like a really interesting concept to me. I debated how philosophical I wanted to go with this today, and I was actually just led to draw some tarot cards on it. So it's actually going to be more of a practical approach to time. Maybe the philosophical thing will come at some point later on, but what I wanted to say is that time, everybody's busy now, right? Everybody's busy, everybody's got stuff going on, everybody is like trying to jam so many things into their day. It's the reason that people exceed the speeding limit sometimes by quite a bit. It's the reason why I think people walk around with sometimes determined and even scowl-faced looks on their face, just because we're constantly in a rush. We're constantly just going. We have so many things to do. We're working more than we ever have. We have more options than we ever have. We have more engagements. We're keeping up with jobs, we're keeping up with social media, we're keeping up with relationships, fitness. There's so many different things that people are doing now. So time becomes like a real commodity for pretty much everybody. So, the first card that I drew in regards to this topic is the Ten of Rods reversed. So, this card indicates taking on too much, that you're putting too much on your plate, and the reason that time feels like it's such a constraint is because you're just trying to pack too much into what is only a 24-hour day, and really what, depending on how much you sleep, is only like a 16 to 18-hour day. So you're putting too much on your plate, you're getting weighed down. Look at where you can lighten the load, okay? Look at if there's opportunities to delegate. Look at what is actually bringing value to your life, like what is actually in alignment, what you can live without, and just identify what those tasks are and really challenge yourself to see, do you really need those things? For example, I had this exact thought constantly when I would look at my schedule and I felt that I was just always working too hard, I was always too busy, but I would always look at things and I would always say to myself, but I can't let any of this stuff go. I can't let anything go, because if I let this go, then this will happen, then this will happen, then this will happen. So I'm like literally looking at it like I have to hold on to these things. And some of the things that I was holding on to was, meal prep, cooking, okay, trying to cook 5-6 meals a day, like cooking that, doing meal prep once or twice a week, cooking everything in bulk, packaging it up, throwing it in the freezer or the fridge, and eating it throughout the week, getting into the gym, 4 or 5 days a week sometimes. Well, 3 to 4 days like every week, but sometimes 5 days. And I told myself that there was no way that I could let these things go, because if I did, that I wasn't going to be healthy anymore, and that I worked so hard for my health and my fitness that I couldn't let them go. And now look, I feel better than I ever have. I'm sleeping better than I ever have. I haven't been going to the weight room. I do yoga when I can. I'm not doing meal prep. I eat a couple meals a day, and the rest I graze on fruits and vegetables. So all this stuff that I told myself turned out actually not to be true, and it was actually holding me back. So especially if things seem forced and you don't have enough time, there's probably some stuff that you need to let go. So look at where you can do that. So the next card that I got was the Nine of Pentacles reversed. Okay, so this card indicates an overinvestment in work in this context. Okay, an overinvestment in work. It's terrible for your personal life. You're basically, maybe some things are suffering. Maybe it's your relationships, maybe it's your health, and it's a real call to look at and this is probably a lot of people, you're over investing in your work probably because there's certain things that you feel that you need to have in your life to make you happy, especially material things or even big vacations, and your health and your relationships and just, you know, your balance is suffering because you're working so hard to achieve a certain level of income, to have certain things that you believe that are actually making you happy, when actually you're probably not happy because you're fucking overworked and your relationships are suffering, your health is suffering, and you're not actually happy. You're getting caught on this hamster wheel, the golden handcuffs, you know, where you just work, work, work. So, you know, it's a call to you know, maybe get out in nature, maybe find more balance, you know, realize that you don't always need the best stuff. Realize that really all you actually need, truthfully, is just like the basic things of life, which is like socialization, you know, your friends and family, you know, nourishment, you know, through good food, you know, just getting out in nature, getting outdoors, getting fresh air, you know, food, water. I mean, those are really the only things that you need to be happy, and that's reinforced. Actually, there's a great documentary that you can check out. I believe it's still on Netflix. It's called Happy, and the gist of it basically is like, how is it that, you know, the CEO, you know, making 7 figures, 6 figures, you know, is just miserable, and the guy that's pedaling a fucking, you know, cart around in a third world country, but yet he has his friends and family and all around him, and he just feels an abundance of life, he's actually happier. That's why, is because, you know, you're actually, this guy is not, he's not working to get ahead, he's not getting stuck on the hamster wheel, he's just enjoying, you know, the beauty of life. So this is a call to get back to that. You know, maybe, you know, like I said, maybe, you know, like the meal prep thing, try eating differently like I did, try letting something go, see what feels forced in your life. I ran into, it was really interesting, within a week I ran into 2 car salesmen. One was a former car salesman, the first one, and one is a current car salesman. The first one said he used to work 70 hours a week as a car salesman, he made a fuck ton of money, but he was totally unhappy and it was his life. And he said now he works like 40 hours a week in like electronic sales or something, and he's happier than he could be. And I could see it in him. I could see it in his aura, you know, in his appearance. I could see it in his thoughts and his actions. He was just way more laid back. He was way happier. Then less than a week later, I run into the guy that's still a car salesman, who's, you know, trying to hustle and, you know, make millions of dollars apparently. Said the exact same thing that this guy did, working 70 plus hours a week, that it's his life, talked about how he hates it, how he has to deal with the general public, and how he has to eat shit constantly, but he's willing to eat shit from people because of all the money he's making. The guy was 35 years old, he looked almost 50. You know, he mentioned some issues, some scare that he had, I think, with his heart, you know, some cardiovascular thing. I mean, again, like, I don't know what his relationship, family life is like, but I bet it's probably not great. So just, you know, interesting that I ran into 2 guys, you know, that one used to do it and one still does it, and just seeing the contrast. One is willing to overwork himself, you know, for these golden handcuffs just to get ahead, and then the other guy's like, you know what, nope, I'm going to take this route of, you know, actually enjoying life. And so the card that I got, as far as, this is actually the challenge card, the challenge to this stuff was the Empress card upright. So what this card is saying is the challenge is seeing the beauty of life, feeling good in the moment, even when you are busy, creative expression, okay? It's really tough when, you know, we're basically, like, time is basically like boxes. I mean, it's like you look at, you know, you look at the calendar on your phone, or if you still use, you know, a hard copy calendar, they're boxes. So it's like you've got to fit shit into boxes. Creativity does not fit into any particular box. So the difficulty is like learning to, you know, get into the state of, you know, where you can find more balance, where you can find creativity, where you can find the beauty in the world, even when you still are busy, even when you still do have things, because you're never just going to have, you know, just probably a free day. Like, I don't really feel like that that happens for too many people. Like, there's always something that you have to do. There's always going to be things throughout the day that have to get done, even on an off day, even on a Sunday. You're probably doing laundry or something like that around the house, cleaning the house, and you have to find, you know, just this beauty, this creativity wherever you can, because, you know, you have to be in the moment too. Like, if you're getting stuck in, oh, I've got to be here, I've got to be there, this whole time mechanism, the creativity is just not going to flow, because you're going to be feeling that pressure of time constantly. And creativity flows from being present, being in that present moment, you know, where you're not thinking about what you just completed or planning ahead or looking forward to what you have to complete, or especially what you're dreading. You want to talk about a real creativity killer. Just dread something that you have to do in the future. That will suck you dry. So I noticed that when I first got custody of my son, and I was still learning to adjust to that lifestyle, I mean, it was fucking start to finish, you know, burning candle at both ends, you know, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. in the morning until 9 o'clock at night. And what happened was because I was always pushing so hard and always working so hard to get a task accomplished, I would get to the end of the night at 9 o'clock when everything was done. I would sit down on the couch, and then I would realize the tension in my body, how shallow my breathing was. I would see that I literally felt like I could not relax anymore. Like it's almost like I forgot how to just chill out. And that's the issue, is like you keep pushing, and then try to get to the reprieve, then try to get to the vacation. And then it's hard to do, because now you're trying to unclutter all this stuff that happened leading up to that moment. So that's why it's important to find the beauty in things as you're going about your day. So the overall card that I got was the 9 of Cups upright. So this card indicates your wishes being fulfilled, your comfort, your happiness. And, you know, this card following that challenge card of finding the beauty, that's essentially what this is saying, is finding the balance. You're going to feel comfort, you're going to feel fulfillment, you're going to feel more happiness if you can learn that there is this male energy pushing female feel good, you know, beauty, creativity balance to things. When you can achieve that balance, that's when you're going to feel better. You know, I took an extended time off of work at one point because I was realizing basically that things just kept going, escalating in terms of the stress, the tension with always pushing with things. And it was because I didn't have any balance. I had no sense of balance. So I actually had to kind of unlearn that behavior and realize that, you know, and go and do some passive feel-good things and do a lot of things like meditation to see just the amazing benefits of, you know, getting into meditative-like states, feeling good, seeing the beauty in the world. So the final card, the spiritual advice card that I got, is the 7 of Cups upright. So this card is basically saying, don't get caught up too much in daydreaming. Okay. You know, that last card, you know, part of the balance that I described is doing some daydreaming. It's daydreaming to, you know, assist with your plans too, to assist with your goals, to get into that creative like state where you can daydream and imagine, you know, how do you want things to look? And a lot of times that's where inspiration can strike, because you're getting out of that logical mind frame and always trying to accomplish tasks and check boxes off. But what this card is saying is, like, at some point you've got to stop daydreaming, you got to stop keeping your head in the clouds, and you have to start building things. And not only do you need to start building things, but you need to get really clear on exactly what it is that you want to build. Okay. The way to do that, there's several ways. I mean, if you're really in touch, you know, with your intuition, your feelings, you can feel what's really in your heart center and know what to go for. Or if you're not that way yet, maybe you have to do like a pros and cons list. But ultimately, it's realizing too what's real and what's fake in terms of what it is that, you know, you're trying to pull out of the clouds. If you're, you know, people that like think they have the best ideas when they get drunk and they get high and shit like that, that's probably illusions. I can't say that word. It's probably illusions, okay? Because You know, it came in kind of like this illusion like state of, you know, being in like an altered, you know, like a substance altered state. Now, what's actually real to me in this context is actually that most people totally underestimate how much time it's going to take to build things. But you know, if you can realize that, you know, things do take time to manifest, but if you can get really clear on what it is that you want to build, then it can absolutely 100% happen. But don't get caught up too much in the daydreaming. So, you know, that Seven of Cups card, I mean, if you even, I dropped it, but it's a card showing that there's these 7 cups, and some of them have amazing, beautiful things like treasures inside the cup, and then some of them have things that you don't want, like one of them's like a serpent, like a snake. So that's the thing, is like, you know, you can sit there and dream about the stuff that you want, but what really matters is, you know, can you get it to come from this space where it really truly means something, it's really valuable to you, it really comes from the heart space. Because if it's just something that, you know, that's like coming to satisfy your ego, and it's like a very shallow thing that you want to manifest, and you think it's good for you, and you convince yourself that it's good for you, like that's what the ego is going to do. It will convince you with your thoughts what's good for you, and then you get there and you go and do it, and it eats you up. So, you know, be careful. So that's what I got for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for showing up. Coaching, personal training is available. Send me an email, ericrosencoaches@gmail.com. I will talk to you guys later. I'll see you tomorrow.